Hello everyone. In last session, I was explaining you all like equals hashcode. So today we'll continue with that, and we will. I'll show you how to implement equals method, how to implement hashcode method, and also toString method. These are the few methods which we override from the object class based on our requirement. Right? Let me share my screen, and then we'll proceed further. So I have shared my screen. You all might be able to see it, right? Okay. So let me go to this. Uh, we will do it in this same package, data package, right? We'll create it here. Or what we will do, this equals method, hashcode method, all these are associated with collection. I'll create one more. This the most of this you find in collection. So let me create a package here, and in that package, we will start implementing all this. Okay, com.example.collection package. One package I created. I'm going to create one class. Right? I'm going to create one class here. Let's say I'll create a class called employee. Right? What we will do, we will implement here first toString method. I will because that is the very easiest one to go. Then we will go for all other method, right? See, I was telling employee. Employee is basically Java window, data window, right? Data object. So we'll have here some parameter. Data. We'll define something employee ID, right? Employee name, employee. Yes, see, it is you can just only write ID because it is an employee class, so definitely it will be employee ID. It is employee class, so definitely it will be employee name. It is employee class, so definitely it will be employee S. No need of writing employee name, employees like this. Even if you're defining it in a general class, then you need to write it. Right? Let's say salary. Right? Let's say department. Now we'll generate setter getter for this. I have already explained this in one of my previous sessions about setter getter, right? Now I will create a main class here. What happened? Some error. I clicked somewhere else. I think so. Yes, we will have a main class here. So in main class we'll have main method, right? Where we'll check equals and all other things. So here first I will tell you the toString, which is a simple one, right? See toString here. We'll print the toString of employee method, right? employee dot toString. So just watch what is the output is going to come here. See what I got. Value of toString. ToString method is returning me com.example.collection.employee. This is the, it is throwing me out or it is giving me out the class name, fully qualified class name. When a class name you print with full package name, that is called fully qualified class name. When you only write employee, that is the only class name. You know that's how the technical jargon or terminologies you uses when you talk in technically. When you talk technically or when you start talking using technical terms. After that, you see head rate 24D 46 CSC. This is a hashing value of that object. You know, yesterday we are seeing some hash code implementation, right? And we are seeing the value of hash code also. Value from hash code. See what it is giving for this employee. This is it is giving, right? Yesterday I have printed one more, that is here system. Sorry. System dot identity hash code, right? Employee. Let me print this. Just see what all these are actually happening, and then I will explain you. See, identity hash code employee and hash code. Both are giving the same value in case of object. But yesterday, when I sing in case of string, it keeps valuing. You know, it has different value, right? So that's how this object work. So see, we're coming back to toString. We'll go one after the other. We're coming back to toString, right? When we're coming back to toString, in toString, what happened? In toString, what happened? When we're coming back to toString, we see the output of normal or default implementation of toString is fully qualified name before the address symbol, and after the address symbol, it is a hashing value of the object, right? Now in this employee, we will implement toString, right? We'll go and implement toString. So this is what we implemented this toString method, right? So what I did in the toString method, see, in the toString method, if I go to the superclass toString method, let me go to the object class toString method. Object class, here the object class is there, right? So this is the toString method. What it is printing: get class, get name, add the rate, integer dot, text string, hash code. Let me show you this also. While by running this program, right? I'll comment out all this. Whatever I did a change in this particular class, I'll print it here. Integer dot. See this method get class dot get name. It will give you the fully qualified name, and so I will print that, right? I'll print you and show what the default one is doing. Employee dot get class dot get, right? This is what we are printing. And then what will print? The text string part. Text string. User dot x to x string. This is what they have printed, right? See, 2x string. And inside that they have passed the hash code of employee method. Right. So now I will run it. See what happens. See, com dot, the class name is com dot example dot collection dot employee, and text string is this. Here see the default implementation of object class toString method, what it is giving. Right? The same thing we got it here. That is the hashing value of the hash code. That's what I was trying to tell you. Before at the rate symbol, it is fully qualified name. After at the, it is the hashing value of hash code or hex string. Sorry, not hashing. Hex string of hash code method. Now implementing, now implementing toString. We'll go back to that. See, toString method, what it does, it gives the information about the object. You know, the default toString method, it is giving the information. What information? It is giving the information. The object is, it is giving the information about the class. What is the class? And it is also giving the information about the, and it is also giving the information about the hex code. Fully qualified name at the rate, the fully qualified name class name at the rate hex code. That is what we are getting here. Now, coming down to this implementation, if you see in this implementation, I want to show, I want to print the content of the object. The way I want to publish the information of that object, I will implement toString accordingly. So for your also, you can implement toString accordingly. In some cases, what we do in real life implementation, toString method will have some values, you know, to be printed. So here I am printing toString method in this way. It is not good practice, but to show you how you can implement, I have implemented toString. No one print their ID. ID is never added to toString. In real life program, in software industry, no developer should add their IDs. If that ID is unique ID and it is used in transaction and it is secure, that should not be added to toString method. Even if you are adding it to toString method, then you should know where print the project information. Nowhere you should print the project information. Nowhere you should log the project information or the object, not project, object information. Nowhere you should log the object information or nowhere you should print the object information, right? Otherwise, what will happen? It will print the ID. So, which is again not secure. I will just only print employee, right? Before going to this, I'll print only employee object. See what it does. See, only a printing employee also give the same thing. Either you do to string or you don't do to string. While you are printing only employee object, it will print the content of the to string method. That's what in previous one of the previous session also I said. I have shown you that example here by running the code. Now what I did, I added this, right? I added this to I have overridden the toString method of the object class. Let's go and print it. Now you see there will be difference. See, there is a difference, right? Let's comment out all other, all other till this, right? See, ID null, name null, age null, salary null, department null, right? Everything is null. Because that employee object we just created, we have not populated any value. Now I'll populate value inside each. Set ID. Okay, something I have given here. Random number I have typed here. Random number. Okay. Set department technology innovation. Right. So now it will give the right information. See, but you got whatever value is populated, right? For that object. So see, that is the reason I said if you are overriding toString method and you want to print a object information, a better information which will help you out in debugging or maybe in some other places, it is always better for you to have this information in toString, but never use these IDs, you know, because IDs are unique for that particular transaction or maybe for particular object, and this ID might be, secured one, and if you use it, it will get unsecured. Someone might look into this ID and they might, fetch, the digital in this digital era or digital world, many things are happening along the cyber line, right? So you have to be very careful what you are printing or what object you are printing or what value of your object you are printing on the log file. So don't print the whole object or any IDs. You know, uh, I have seen a long time back. That time the world is not that much digitally connected. Internet was not that fast. People, what they used to do, they used to track the transaction. Sometime the IDs will be mentioned in the log file. You know. So even if you're mentioning the IDs, it should be encrypted one. It should not be the directly the same ID of your object, right? That's how it is. So what you can do, similar to the way here it is printed by this as here you can do integer dot to x string, right? And you can put ID here, right? You can do that. Some error it is showing integer is not applicable to the argument string. Okay, so it is not applicable to argument string. I told you about wrapper classes, right? So I told you about wrapper classes. I'll talk that again while talking about doing the collection. So During the collection, I will again talk about upper classes, and I will tell you a little more utility method of the upper classes. See, I'm using one utility method of the upper class here, integer dot value of, and I'm type ID. I'm passing ID here, right? This integer dot value of, what will happen? It will take a string values, numeric string values, and that it will convert that numeric string values to integer. You know, integer dot to a string, it takes a integer value, and my id here in this employee class is string. I cannot pass it to the to a string, so I have to convert it to a integer, and then I can pass. So this integer upper class dot value of will give me integer value from a string numeric value, right? So now let's see what you get it here. Something number format example. Java dot lang dot number foundation number notation integer dot why it is number format exception, what happened? Let's go and check. The value of text strings returns integer object holding the value of the specified string. The argument is interpreted as representing a single decimal integer, exactly as if the argument were given to the parsing method. The result is an integer object represent the integer value specified by the string. In other words, this method returns an integer object equal to the value of integer dot parseInt. Parameter s is the string to passed. An integer object holding these throws if anything cannot be passed as an integer. Okay. There is another called parseInt, right? I might have used a wrong method. And we'll talk about that. No, there is some other problem here, right? That hex string. What I will do, rather using this, this thing, I will just pass some integer here. Let's see what it does. Yeah, it works out, right? So let's see here again, integer dot value is dot get id. No, it's not working. There is some issue. Maybe, oh, it is an integer, right? I might have given the long ID. Let me make it short. Okay. I was talking about data type class, right? Integer short, integer long. So the ID range is higher than the integer. So that's why it is not able to parse it. See how you have to think to find the error. If you don't think that way, you will not be able to find the error. So let's go with this long, right? And make it long, right? And let's go to this main class and change this ID to the existing, what was there earlier. Now let's run it. See, now it is working. Now, sometimes this kind of error will come, this kind of issue will come. You will be really confused what actually happening. Now you'll be thinking, Array, I have given the right integer, I have given the right integer, the right value, but why it is like that? Why the error is coming? Why I don't know. So sometimes you have to think the range. This I explained, I think previous to previous class about data type. So see my session on data type about the range. You will be able to understand what is the range of integer, what is the integer, what is the range of long. So now toString method implementation you might have understood, right? And what all practice you need to do you might have understood. Always, don't print ID directly. ID should be not be printed on object, right? Either you don't print, or if you want to print to track your, uh, track how things are happening, then don't will print the original ID, change it using some unique algorithm to a unique hashing algorithm where you get a different hashing value and print that hashing value, right? So now we'll go to implement equals method in this particular class, right? We will override the equals method. The way I see what I did, I have not overridden I have not written myself the Eclipse method, a toString method. I just overridden it, right, for faster purpose. So the same thing you can do. You can go to this, right? Right click, run as not. Right click, go to source. No, that is Control C, Alt Shift S. That's what I go that fast. I use key shortcuts. So I go for I click Alt Shift S together. So it takes me to the source, and then I click on the generate or override. Yes, generate equals and hashcode methods. Here it is. That's why I click on that. You know, I will I will not go with all these methods. Only I will go with the IDs. Right? I'll go with only ID. Generate a equal method and hashcode method using ID, because I'm going to explain based on that ID to you. Right? So see, we will not talk about hashcode now. We will just only talk about equals method, because I want to explain the equals method, and then we'll go for hashcode method. Before that, we will go to object class and hashcode method. Before that, I will write something here. Wait, I have noted something out yesterday's class. I have brought it from the object class. Rather, going to the object class, we will print it from here. Yes, these are the points. These are the points for going and searching in the object class will take time, right? So I brought it here. As I was telling yesterday, right? It is reflexive. It should be reflexive. Equals method should be reflexive. What does you mean by reflexive? For any reference value x, for any reference value x, x equal to x should return true. X equal to x should be always true, right? It should be symmetric. That means x and y has two value. So x dot equals y and y dot equals x, both should return true. It is transitive. Equals method is transitive. For example, even you have x, y, z, x dot equals y dot equals z, and then what is that? X dot equals z. That is x equal to y equal to z. So if x equal to y is true and z equal to y is true, then x equal to y definitely it will be true. So that is called transitive or transition, right? Transitive relations. So that should be true. That is what the another contract. The last contract is consistent, not last. List the before not the last contract. We have one more contract. It should be consistent for any reference value x and y. You know, multiple invocation of x dot equals y, it should always return true value. Multiple invocation of x and y, it should always return true. That is what this consistent mean. And again, for any null reference value, that is x dot equals null should return false. These are the contract you have to take care while implementing equals method. So this is the overriding of equals method. This is overriding of equals method, right? If this equal to object, return true. If this equal to object, return true. That is the fast contract, checking to the self, right? Then object equal to null, you know, that is the last one. If x dot equals null, so return false. That is last one. Then this is if get class not equal to object dot get class. If get class is not equal to object dot get class, that is return false. That means if x, this is not required. This is not required. This is, it is given. What it is saying get class. You will get this class name and whatever object is passing here, that class name. If it is not equal to true, if it is not equal to true, if it is not equal, then return false, right? If you keep it, also it is fine. Then the last one, which actually we are checking, employee other, employee object, right? Employee other and employee object. So objects equals to ID, other dot ID, right? That means objects dot equal. You see whoever is calling this method dot equals dot object ID, right? Whatever object is coming from this and this. So what you can do rather implementing it in this way, rather implementing it in this way, what the normal way of implementation it will look like this. If this dot id, right, equal to this downcast is required. So let me put it over this downcast equal to object dot get, but not object other. Other it is not other. Let me put it in employee. I know this is employee objective. May not be this employee, but some employee object. Dot get. Yes. So this is what it should be. And then return. This is what this implementation. I removed this equals only to show you that even if what object dot equals method is doing, do you know that? I'll show you. See it. This equal to object. That is what I did. So either you call object class equals method or you do itself. So what I did it myself, right? Return true. Why there is error one here? This method must return a result, right? This method must return a result. That's what he is saying. If nothing matches, return false. You know, you can do that. Or there is another thing here you can do. You all might be knowing ternary operator, right? What it happens here, this condition, I'll copy it from here. I'll put in return. Then I'll have a question mark. Then true. Then false. Done. This is simple, right? Ternary operator. I'll explain it. What is ternary operator? See, ternary operator is basically it's also a conditional statement. If you like, if else, you can do it in a single line. You can write it in a single line. So first you have to give the condition. This is the condition, and then you have to put a question mark. And after that, the true part will come first. If this condition matches, it will go to true. If this condition is not matching, it is go to false. So before before running this or checking this equals method, I'll show you ternary operator here in this place by doing this. Sys, before that I will write something called int or string name equal to, and write something true question mark Satya alone. Satya, right? One is in capital, one is in small, right? One with normal type alphabet, another in is bold letter, right? It is bold. So and put the command. See, the first one is condition. Directly I have given the condition true. We are not checking it anything here, only to show you. And then here I will put name, right? See what it is printing. Normal Satya, right? It is printing normal Satya. I'll make it false. You go and print the bold letter. See, this is how ternary operator works. So let's not talk more about ternary operator. You understood? I think I missed it while explaining if else condition and switch. So there I would have told this ternary operator. I think I missed it. Anyway, fine. I explained it here. So this is the same ternary operator I'm using here, right? Now we'll come to this equals method. We'll see about this equals method. What is this data example data type modified something here it came from, I don't know from where it came. So let's remove this one, right? Let's remove this object also. This is also not recorded util dot objects. This is how the equals method. Let me check it. If what will check, what will check? We will check these all for all conditions, right? If it is satisfying, that is called testing. Whatever method you created for equals is all these points are satisfying. So I created one employee object here, right? I'll create one more employee object with the same values first. I'll keep the same value, right? But I will change. I'll put one more E here. Okay. I'll keep the same value. Huh? So we'll check this employee object now. How it is behaving without implementing the hash code. The hash code method is default hash code method of the object class, right? So if employee dot equals employee, right? This is the same check, right? With same object. So it's better I'll make it EMP. I'll make one as EMP. It will not create any confusion. Right? It is synchronized coming here. I'm just trying to print true, right? Matched. If next condition, employee dot equals null. We'll print this everywhere, true and false, right? So that it will clearly understandable. What is the next contract? XY. See, we did this XX and we did the first one and the last one. Now we'll go for, now what we will go for? This one, XY. EMP. Right? We went for the next one. What is the next one? If, again inside this will print another if. If this equal to this and the reverse is equal to this, then print true. Okay. So this is how you are able to see. See, first one condition I'm checking with employee, that is reflexive. Second one I'm checking is for non-null, for null. This, right? If x dot equals is equal to null, this one. And then I'm checking with symmetric, xy, right? And transitive I have not gone. Transitive I will do after checking this, right? So this is called symmetric. Here this help will not come. Symmetric, right? And this is your reflexive. Consistent, you have to test it again and again, then you can confirm the consistency. Or for any non-null reference value. For this is non-null, right? Transitive after that we will do. So see, I'll run it. What you're getting. Just check. So let me comment out this toString, right? toString. And let me write here reflexive true. Now let me print here. Reflexive false. Let me print here. What is this? Non-null. Symmetric. This is no, as I said, you all, if you are actually, if someone is watching my videos and he or she is really interested, you know, either it is a man or woman or other gender, if you are really interested to have a live session, whoever it is, irrespective of any color, any language, any reason, I support all diversities. If you really want to come live and clarify your doubts on my videos, any concept of Java, come at me on comment section or mail me or message me on LinkedIn. I will definitely send you a live link, meeting link. We can always discuss live, right? We can always discuss live about all these concepts. Let me run it. See, now it will be very clear. Reflexive is true, non-null false, employee symmetric is false. Symmetric should be true, right? Why it became false? Symmetric should be true. Why it is false? EMP this. EMP ID employee ID. Okay. So it is false because of the hashcode method. Once we implement the hashcode method, we will get the value. We will get the right value, right? So let's say, let me go back to the uh, Java class. That is the contract we have for if you are overriding equals method, you need to override the hashcode method. Otherwise, it will be you will have wrong result, right? I commented out somewhere hashcode method here. Yes. So let me uncomment it, and then I'll explain. See, this is if you have learned the concept, then only you will be able to talk about this, right? So let me run it now. Still, then it is false. Why? What happened? See, I want to compare this employee object based on their ID. Maybe my implementation, what I've written, is something wrong. This dot written, this dot ID, and employee dot get ID. So we have to debug it, right? How we can debug it? Yes, this like this, right? This, then print the ID, right? This dot get ID. We're checking with ID, right? Oh, and then yes, change it here. What is that? Here, right? Plus employee. I understood what is the issue by seeing this. I'll explain it. But I just want to tell you how to debug. Let me go to one method and run it. See, employee is coming null and this dot ID is giving this value, right? Employee is coming null and this dot value is giving this value. This employee is the object which you are passing. So here we have used equal to equal to, right? So here you have to use dot equals because it is string, right? It is string, so use dot equals. ID is a string. It is not integer. Use dot equals. Symmetric is false, employee null. Why employee is coming null? Why employee is coming null? We have not defined employee. See, it is there. Employee, why it is going it as null? Okay, so we'll check one by one, right? Let me comment the symmetric part first and then check this part. Reflexive true, right? So reflexive is working for us. Now we'll comment out the reflexive part. We'll check one by one, then we'll see what actually the issue is happening, right? Run it. This is coming false as per the agreement, right? Contract given by the equals in Java. Now we'll comment this. Non-comment this, right? the symmetric pattern. So now it is symmetric. We are checking. So let me run it now. This is coming this and employee is coming this, you know. So let me first comment out this inside if condition, right? And let's run it. EMP it is telling null. Why it is telling EMP null? I don't know. Unresolved compilation problem. There is some compilation issue here. Why? This is the condition. Okay. Hmm. This object is fine. You know, this employee object is fine. This ID is going, but whatever EMP we are passing in equals method, it is null. So that is the reason our condition is failing. It is showing false, right? It's going to the else back. So let's just reverse it. We make it EMP and we make it employee, right? Reverse it. Let's see what it does. It should throw null pointer exception. Yes, it is throwing null pointer exception. Cannot invoke string because this dot id is null, right? Cannot invoke this because this dot id is null. Where it is throwing null pointer exception, if you go to it is throwing here in this dot id, right? Why it is throwing like this? Because that should not. Let me run it again. This dot id, this is null. This is how it should work. There is something in this dot. No. Let me comment out this what I have written and let me continue it this, right? And it is not other, it will be employee. Same error, right? So that means the code which I have written and which Eclipse generated, it doesn't has any issue. The issue something else, right? Something else. So we have to see what is that issue. This is null. So this dot get ID is null. But I'm not setting the ID or what for EMP. This is EMP. ID is set, right? This is the ID we have set it. Oh, yeah. See how the mistake has been done. I've created a EMP object. Sometime, this happens. Hmm. This is how, when you have a live session and people are watching for you, you will not get this issue. This is how happens when you do a copy paste. It's called a copy paste. I copied from the top and changed the variable name, but while setting this attribute, I have not taken care. You know, so that's how the problem. If people are watching this session and if it is a live session, if some people have joined, though it is a live session only for me, But if people have joined this session, some people they are watching my session, they are learning from it, live. They would have told me. But anyway, fine. Let's go to the. Yesterday I was telling, right? Similar kind of issue. Today also similar kind of issue. So you have to be very careful. Now this will work with object with a editor generated to ask new method with my generated this method. See, it kept true, right? So many things we did explode, and then I realized, okay, I did a mistake here. Let me revert back this to the other method which I had and comment out this, right? And comment out this SOP. And let's use the default one because let's use the default one. Let's see what happens, right? Now let's run it. Symmetric. True. Symmetric is true, right? Let me this. So it should be reverse right now. Then it is now symmetric true. See, EMP equals to EMP, employee equals to employee. Symmetric is true. Now we have to go for transitive, right? So I'll just take this one, this same condition here, and put it below, comment it out, and create one more instance. That is EMP, double P, right? So all should be committed. I last time I thought I did like this. In one single change, all got changed. I thought I have refactored it. It is called refactoring. Eclipse has a option where you change one class variable wherever it is referring. That will change if you go through the refactoring. Control Shift R. Control Shift R. You press it. It will enter to refactor. It will ask you to refactor that particular value. Shortcut. Control Shift R. Okay. Control Shift R. You select that particular EMPP. I'll show you. No, sir, not Control Shift. It is Alt Shift. No, Alt Shift. Then you write something EMP E. Let's say, and you see. Please click Enter. It will change everything. This is how it is, right? This is how it is. Now EMP equals to employee, right? This is how it is. If EMP dot equals to employee and employee dot equals to EMPE, then here another if EMP dot equals what? EMPE, right? See, employee equals to, that is X equal to EMP, let's say X, and employee is Y, EMP is Z. So first we did X equals to Y, then Y equals to Z, then X equals to Z. Then it is what? Transitive. The mathematics. Mathematics. Transitive. True. This is how you test your equals method. There are few test frameworks or testing tools where you can generate the code and you can test your methods for different scenarios. So I'll show you everything together, right? Everything together. transitive and the symmetry, everything together I will show you, right? Non-null, the time because of my mistake, we this is format Control Shift F. I formatted the code to get it in a. You can type control. You can shortcut use Control Shift F. It will format it, right? It will if you select all, it will format everything. So be careful what you want to format. See these points also got formatted, right? This is how it is. Now let me run it. This is how it is. We satisfied. How many contracts are there? One, two, three, four. And the consistent contract, you have to test it regularly. That is how it is. Coming back to employee object, we implement this. Even if you take out this hash code, it will it will give the same result. All right, the same result. Now I'll tell you what is hashing and why it is required. The implementation part we will see it in the next session, right? The implementation part we will see it in the next session. Otherwise, the video will extend. It will go for long hour. The way I'm explaining, it will go. It will take more time, right? So let's understand what is hashing. This hash code, this hashing, why it is required. For an example, uh, in Java language, not an example, it is true. In Java language, it is the concept and why it came into picture. In Java language, when you use collection, this hash code or hashing is very important. You know. When you try to retrieve a value or you search a value, you want to store a value into a location, and not only single value, multiple values you want to store in a location, right? So now, giving an example, let's say you have one bucket. In that particular one bucket, you want to you want to write names in that paper in small sheet of paper. You have the whole class name, the students or maybe say the employees. We are talking about employee. Will to go with employee. The whole employee name. You want to talk about the whole employee name, the whole employees, right? The class full of the employees in the company, the strength, what of the strength of the employees, right? You write their name and drop it in that particular single bucket. What happens now when you want to search that cheat in that bucket? What you have to do? You have to go. You, you have to go. What you have to go and look one after the cheat, right? It is very difficult to search. You know, in a company, thousands of employees, you will go and look one by one, each cheat, and then when you find the particular person cheat, it will come out. It is very difficult. Sometimes you can get it in fast peak, and sometime in maybe last peak, and sometime in somewhere on the path from fast to last, right? So it basically what happens, it create trouble for you, right? So here, let's say you segregate all your employees in alphabetical order, create 26 buckets. All the employees name with A, put in A bucket. All employees name with B, put in B bucket. All employee name with C, put in C bucket. All employee name with D, put in D bucket. All employee name with like that till Z, put in Z bucket, right? So now what happened? If you find, okay, you have to search an employee with A, you just go to A bucket and start searching, right? If you find an employee with a B name starting, so it is how easy. You are not searching all employees, but you are searching a group of employees packed together inside of one bucket, right? B, you go to B bucket, you find you will find very less number of cheat than the if you add all 26 buckets, right? A to Z. From that less number of cheat inside B, it will be easy for you to find. It will be faster for you to find. Right? So that is one of the reason why you need to have a hash code. In Java, when you use collection like map, hash tables, what they do, they store these values into a bucket. I will talk about collection after this implementation of toString, hash code, and equals method. We will go to collection. Now, while implementing this, while you are storing to hash map a value, key value pair, right? Hash map is a collection where you can store key value pairs. So while storing, we have to give a key and a value. That key will be the identifier for that value. While retrieving that value from that hash map, you have to use that particular key. Okay. So now, you know, if you have a proper hashing algorithm or hashcode algorithm, what actually hashmap does, they take this particular key, and then they hash it. According to hash, a number will come, the hashing number. They will store this value into that bucket, that hashing number bucket. So when you retrieve, what they do, they again take the key, they hash it, they find that key hashing number, what that's hashing number using that hashing number, they go to that bucket, they'll find the bucket, which bucket the value is stored. After reaching that bucket using that hashing number, they'll start matching the value present or matching the value with all the values present in that bucket to fetch that value. So while going through the implementation and collection, I will give you more details. I will explain to more details with bit examples. What is hashing? What is bucket? How it works. So watch my next video for this, uh, concept. So we will end our session here. Thank you, everyone.